40% of course creators earn 6 figures in less than 2 years, and with the online course space projected to hit over $1 trillion by 2032, it's safe to say the industry is not slowing down. So if you've been thinking about turning your knowledge into a profitable course, now is the perfect time. Now you might think you need a well-polished 10-module course with a big following in order to make money, and honestly, that's why most people never start. Thankfully, building a 6-figure course is way more simple than you think. And after building a multi-6-figure course myself and studying loads of other 6- and 7-figure course creators, I can prove it. Today, I'm dishing with you the 5 steps to build a course that actually sells, plus the most common traps you must avoid to be successful. By the end, you will know exactly how to go from course idea to paying students in just 30 days. And if you haven't yet downloaded my Profitable Course Starter Kit that dives more into what we're talking about today, be sure you grab that in the description or in the cards. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Be honest with me here. Do you consume content more than you create? Most people do, and it's honestly one of the reasons that most course creators stay forever stuck. We scroll, we compare, and then soon we just start sounding like everybody else in our niche. Instead of innovating, we are imitating. And when you imitate, you become replaceable. And in a world of AI, we cannot have that. What makes your course AI proof isn't the slides you're using or the software. Sometimes it's not even the strategy, it's you. Your story, your struggles, your strengths, your weird personality quirks. That is what all of your future students are waiting for. When you stop trying to imitate everybody else in your industry and you actually start sharing your own experiences, your own knowledge from the heart, that is when things really start to click. So step 1 of my 5-part process in building a course that sells is magnetic messaging. And so how do you find the secret sauce of your course that is you through your own magnetic message? There are 4 things to consider. First, you need to examine your own story. What experiences from your past have shaped your expertise? Let's be real, think about our favorite creators. We all love a good come-up story or underdog story, or just being able to know that someone that we look up to or love to learn from was once in our shoes where we're currently at right now. That makes you more relatable and trustworthy. 2, you need to follow your empathy. What struggles of your own or of those around you resonate with you the most deeply? Identify where are you already a magnet to people in your life? Who already comes to you for advice? What type of people and what are the types of questions and things that they ask you for advice on? And then 4, you need to define your audience for your magnetic message very clearly. So what is the age, occupation, interest, pain points of the person that your magnetic message speaks to the most? And here's my favorite rule of thumb when it comes to figuring out what is my magnetic message and who is that message for. Go with what is obvious. And go with what's obvious even when you don't want to. For example, I have this student who is incredible when it comes to fashion. She's always putting together outfits. It's where her passion and expertise lies. She gets loads of friends and family asking her for advice on it. But instead of picking what was most obvious, she first built a course in a totally different niche and heard crickets. I totally get this. I did the same thing. When I started in the ESL, English as a Second Language niche, I wanted to talk about anything else. I just thought it didn't seem glamorous enough, and I was so close to it, I didn't necessarily want to do it. But when I finally leaned into it, that's when my business started to explode. Go with where your expertise lies. Go with what is obvious. Because here's the thing, if you try to talk to everyone, you will speak to no one. And that brings us to step 2. Because your unique message may be magnetic, but if it doesn't provide a solid transformation, nobody's gonna buy it. So we need to map it out. And that is step 2, your magnetic map. People don't pay for information, they pay for transformation. And think about the courses that you've bought in the past. What were you really buying? Usually as people, we want more confidence, more clarity, more freedom, more income, more time, more peace. As course creators, we aren't selling lessons, we are selling results with a clear transformation that people want. Your course is the map, the path of least resistance that takes your student from point A and their pain point that they're at to point B of the final result that they are desiring. So for step 2, your job is to define a clear transformation. A great sentence to fill out would be, by the end of my course, my students will go from blank to blank so that they can blank. This sentence will become the North Star of your course. It will guide your content, it will guide your marketing, and it will even allow you to have more confidence in what you are building. Let me give you an example. By the end of my course, my students will go from overwhelmed by meal planning to confidently cooking 5 healthy dinners a week so they can save time, lose weight, and feel amazing in their bodies. The more specific you can be with these transformations, the better. For example, I help women lose weight and feel better about themselves. It's pretty vague, but I help women lose 10 pounds in 8 weeks with 0 overwhelm. That's way more specific and tangible of a transformation. Now, once you have your transformation sentence, you can then reverse engineer what people need to go from their starting point to that ending clear result. What I like to do in my notes is just list out every single step or thing that someone would need to know to be able to go from point A to point B. Now, you can always add and tweak these, but this is just a rough idea. We'll get into more of the course creation later, but once you have this listed out, I recommend to then try and group these into modules. These would be more like your logistical sections that would make your course into more bite-sized pieces. So let's go with my course. I help new course creators go from feeling stuck to making their first $10,000 in course sales. So I would list out all the steps I need to take people through to go from 0 to that first $10,000. And then I would find where I can break it into different modules. Now you may have just 3 modules or you may have 10. For me, it made sense that I map mine into 5 modules with categories I feel like they kind of go together well. So students can feel accomplished going from one module to the next, where each module will have mini lessons within it. But hold up, right here is where most new course creators fall into a trap and they just start creating their course right away. And then when they go to sell, they hear crickets. We need to avoid this by step 3, magnetic marketing, where you pre-sell your course. I recently had someone book a one-on-one coaching call with me, and she had built this incredible course, launched it, and then when the doors open, she heard crickets. Nobody bought it. And since she's launched it, she's only made like 1 sale. And she came to me wondering why. And the answer was that she didn't pre-sell and test her course idea first. When it comes to magnetic marketing, you need to make sure you sell your course before you build it out. And this feels really scary for most people, but most all 6-figure course creators pre-sell. When we do not pre-sell, we often fall into the no sales trap. You assume, you build, you launch, you hear crickets. So instead, we run a beta launch. Here's how a beta launch works. You will onboard beta students, and these are students that you will find from friends or family or direct messaging people online if you have no audience. And at a discounted rate, you will invite them into your new course. And you've got that magnetic messaging, you've got your transformation. So you invite people into this new course. Having these beta students funds your course as you build it. So boom, you have a cash influx already into your business. Amazing. Now, when you onboard beta students, you will send them an onboarding form asking them where they're at, where they're struggling with, and what would make your course a success to them. And then you make sure you deliver on that. You get paid for people to actually tell you what they want, and your course gets to deliver on it. So cool. Next, you prep your course 1 module or 1 lesson at a time. And then 3, you actually teach it live on a weekly or bi-monthly basis, whatever you think is going to work best for your students. From there, in those live calls, you will collect real-time feedback. You'll get questions from students. You'll be able to improve curriculum and ensure that you are getting students to that promised transformation of your course. And then 6, you record the polished version of that curriculum. And then you can upload that as a recorded module of your course so you never have to teach it live again. Now, you may be thinking, Danny, I don't have any sort of an audience. How will I get beta students? All you need is 3 to 5 people. Start talking to friends, talk to family, talk to coworkers, DM people on social media, ask for referrals. It feels really uncomfortable, but if you want to have a successful course, you've got to be able to put yourself out there and talk to as many people as you can and share about what you're building. Your goal in the beginning isn't to get 100 sales, it's to get proof of concept. You want real people, real feedback, real results, and then real testimonials, which leads to more confidence in what you're selling. Because here's the thing, confidence doesn't come from the amount of sales that you make. Confidence in what you're offering comes from knowing that your offer genuinely helps people. Now that we've proven your course works, it's time to actually build it out. And that is step 4, building out your magnetic model. Now for me, part 4, the magnetic model, is my personal favorite because here's where you're really getting to see your course come to life. And the nice thing about building out your course is you can keep it really simple. You don't need a super expensive camera or all the tech and gear. I found that I really only use 3 things to actually build out my course. The first thing you're going to need is obviously a course software. And this year, the 3 that I most recommend would be Kajabi, Thinkific, and LearnWorlds. Obviously, if you see my YouTube channel, you know that I use Kajabi. I had started off in Teachable and I outgrew it, and then I moved over to Kajabi and I've been really happy with it. But if you want a comparison of the top course platforms of the year, check out this video, and it even comes with a free comparison graph so you can pick out the right one for you. For your curriculum, I recommend using gamma.app to create beautiful slides with the power of AI. You can see here me taking a workbook from my course and putting it into Gamma. So easy, then I just tweak it and make it my own. And then in order to film video lessons for my course, I use Descript. And the beautiful thing about Descript is I can actually film my screen so I can see myself and my Gamma slides and record directly in Descript and then edit it very easily using their AI. With a few clicks, I can take out any filler words, any retakes, I can change the layout. It makes course creation so easy. Now, of course, you don't need to have video trainings for your online course, but I think it just adds that much more value for your students. So I would recommend it if you can. In order to keep everything organized when it comes to building out your magnetic course model, I recommend to use Google Sheets. You can see here a Google Sheet from my own course where I have the different modules and then the lessons in each module, and then the slides, the worksheet that goes along with it, and any links to worksheets or videos. Now hold up, you can create a beautiful course, but in today's age with AI, I really believe that you need some sort of a community aspect if you are offering a higher ticket course. So if you're offering a course that's like $300, you don't need this, but let's say you want to charge $1,000 plus for your course, which I would recommend because 10 sales at 300 and 10 sales at 1,000, that's a big difference in revenue. So if you're going to charge a higher ticket, you need some sort of a community aspect. And what I recommend is just some form of group coaching. You don't even need a community platform. You can just add live coaching within your course. Something I love about Kajabi is in my course, I can turn on live coaching that happens once a week, once a month, however often I want, and people can access those calls and the recordings directly in the course curriculum. So easy and adds loads of value and community that people are craving now more than ever with the rise of AI. But even with the best course and community, you are still trading some of your time for money unless you automate it. And that comes to part 5 of being able to build a course that sells. That is building a magnetic machine. Now, this is where everything clicks. You've built out a solid offer. You've validated that it works. You have built out your course in your course creation platform. You've gotten your first testimonials from beta clients. Now it's time to automate it in the magnetic machine. Here's how this works. Number 1, you make content on frequently asked questions within your niche of your target students. Let's say I make a video on how to create a course that sells. My ideal viewer would search that up, they would find the video, they watch it, and then they can download something free that I offer, like an opt-in or a guide or a free training. From there, I can get them into an email funnel that upsells them into my paid program. And then boom, they learn from you, they enroll, and you have a new student. This is just one example of a magnetic machine that can work for you. The most important thing is that you find out where's your target audience hanging out, and you create helpful content that answers their frequently asked questions there. For example, I have a really talented client named Graham who is building a course for freelance graphic designers. He knew his audience was hanging out on LinkedIn, so he made a really helpful post on LinkedIn. That went viral. He got loads of comments and views, and then he pulled people into his free community. Now he's got people that he can directly connect with, and then when he's ready to upsell them into his course and paid community, he can do it super easily because he's built out that like, no trust factor. Now, of course, I am biased to YouTube because I love it and it's the second largest search engine in the world. I have YouTube videos that are 7 years old that still bring clients into my business. But again, you need to go where your audience is hanging out. So figure that out, create helpful content, offer them something free, and then upsell them into your course. Build out a funnel that can work for you even when you are sleeping. Building out a funnel is how I went from ESL teacher to YouTube coach to six-figure course creator. And this has not just worked for me. One of our recent graduates of the Magnetic Course Blueprint is a pastor, and he launched his first course for leaders and made $40,000 in sales. That is the power of having a machine that works. So now you know the 5 M's of building a course that actually sells. But just knowing them isn't enough. Now you actually have to implement and be a doer, and I know you can. Like I said, now is the best time to start and turn your knowledge into a profitable online course. Just take it step by step. I know you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it too. Don't forget to download my Profitable Course Starter Guide. That's going to be so helpful for you in building from zero to your first $10,000 in course sales. And if you want to fast track your course success, I highly recommend that you join the Magnetic Course Blueprint, where you will get all of the templates, AI prompts, and the A to Z of how to build a profitable online course with a community and with direct feedback from me. So if that interests you, be sure to click below. And if you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments. And I will see you next video. Bye.